Alright, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing fine. So today I greet you to our second review on the channel, and we're gonna have a look at GTFO. So regarding the timeline, the game released into early access December 2019, and 2 years later, a couple days ago, December 2021, they greeted us with the 1.0 patch. Finally. So the playtime, I'm around 60 hours in the game, and there's lots of topics that I want to discuss today and show you guys. So first of all, I'm going to explain what is the game about. Afterwards, art style and graphics. We're also going to talk about performance, audio, a bit of story, and then, and that's a very important point, we're going to talk about the difficulty, because they claim to have one of the most difficult PvE co-op experiences out there. So we're gonna talk also about single player and then multiplayer. Also the unique selling point, basically why should you buy this game. Then what did I like, but also what would I change. The playtime and the replay value is always important. The question that everybody loves, should you buy it? And then at the end there will be a rating. Now you're like, Mike, I don't want to watch all of this. It's way too much. Fine. There are timestamps in the description. Let's get started. Maybe you never heard of it, so let me quickly explain what is GTFO. So the developers claim that this is a hardcore co-op FPS horror game. Up to 4 players can play together, and it has a strong focus on stealth and resource management. You have to complete rundowns. There is like every 3 to 4 months a new rundown, and contains multiple missions. There are no classes, but you have rundown specific weapons, you have also specific tools, and depending on your loadout, you have a different function in your group. You know what? I'm gonna show you really quick a summary, 1 or 2 minutes, how the game works. And this is how the game works. Before you start your expedition, you equip your gear. Main weapon, secondary tool, and melee weapon. If you feel like it, you can equip some boosted to give you certain buffs. Afterwards, you drop down into the complex. You have to complete a certain objective, retrieving samples, repairing important equipment, the usual stuff you mostly already know from other games. Ammunition and resources are limited. Taking down enemies with your melee weapon is highly recommended.
Oh shit, I'm not going to there.
We'll be overrun in no time.
Yeah, there's a couple in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you fail with that, or you don't have the patience, you can go guns blazing until you run out of ammo. Every couple minutes you have to do events. Mostly they are doors with an alarm and a security event. Prepare to defend yourself, eliminate the enemies, and progress further into your expedition. Sometimes you have to fight or dodge special sleepers. Be careful with those. If you fight sloppy against them, they cost you a lot of supplies. To replenish them, the game gives you some help. You have terminals you can use to find your objectives and hidden goodies. At certain points in your mission, you will reach a checkpoint. Should your expedition find a sudden end, you can retry from this checkpoint now. At the end, you have to extract and you can collect your rewards. Some boosters, customization items, and the unlock for the next missions.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah! Sweet.
I swear, the fucking curse runs, man. And we are back. Let me quickly give you a little bit of background information regarding the development team behind GTFO. GTFO is developed by 10 Chambers. They were founded in 2015. They are located in Stockholm, Sweden, and they have around 30 employees. I always like to mention a little bit the developers behind the games, so you can get a little bit of a feeling how much you can expect from the game. Also, GTFO is, so far as I know, their only game. Alright, now let's have a look at the single chapters. Next up, we're gonna talk about the art style and the graphics. This will be a very short chapter, there's not much to say regarding this. The art style and the graphics, they are pretty and sufficient. They aren't extraordinary, but they get the job done. I like them. Monster design, good and unique, especially the unique part is really important. I'm getting kind of tired of always slapping zombies, shooting zombies. So having these sleepers there, nice. The weapon design is satisfying. I like shooting them. They are a mix of, you know, this time and age and futuristic. The level design is also pretty good. Sometimes you can't see shit, but well, that's probably part of the game, part of the immersion. It's only decent though. I think they could have done a little bit of better job regarding this. Some of the missions get a little bit repetitive regarding how they look like. But overall, nothing too much to complain there. I like that one. Let's jump to the next chapter. You probably want to know how good the performance is and if your system can run it, so here we go. Performance-wise, I had no issues. Well, it would be a shame if I have issues. I'm gonna show you right here. Now, this is my setup that I play with. I have one stream setup, so my recording, my streaming, playing the game, everything is done on one machine. And I had absolutely no issues whatsoever with performance. This is the frames that I got on average. Not always the same, obviously. I think it's doing a solid job. And they also added, with 1.0, a lot of additional settings, so you can even fine-tune there a little bit more. So if you have issues with your frames, there should be enough settings for you to get it on an enjoyable and playable level. Good audio is always important for a good game, so let's check that one out. So regarding the audio, I think they did a decent job. Soundtrack, you can hear one now in the background, and also the ambient sound while you're in the game is very immersive. The gun sounds, I would say, overall they're fitting. Sniper rifle has a nice bang, the SMG is a little bit more on the lighter side. I think it fits. The monster sounds, there's actually not that many. They have these clicking noises when they're idle. They have like this wake up sound, the charge sound, the combat sound. There are a few more unique sounds, for example, when you trigger a scout and they call in a wave, or when they spread out the tentacles and are looking for you. That is nicely done. I wish there would be a little bit more variety though. The one thing that I would like to see a little bit of improvement is the character voice lines. They are okay. The cool thing is you have voice lines that you can command to interact with your team, but sometimes they just overreact a little bit. For example, you clear a wave, you fall down, I don't know, you take 3 fall damage and your character sounds like he's dying and screaming in pain. It's a bit awkward. Overall, I would like to see a little bit more of a sound/audio normalization. The game is, at the beginning of the run, very loud when you drop down. It's insanely loud. I don't even hear my teammates anymore in Discord. So that is a little bit a minor thing I'm nitpicking right here, but I would say audio is good, maybe even a little bit above average.
Let's go quiet. Let's synchronize. 3, 2, 1, go. A lot of monsters there. Scout. Let's move towards the objective. Almost there. I need disinfection. I need tool refill. I need ammunition.
Lots of people value a good story and decent immersion, so let's have a look at that. So I want to keep this chapter short for you guys because, well, if I talk too much about the story and what's happening, then, well, I'm spoiling the game for you guys, and that's something that I do not want to do. So I'm only giving you the basic background information. However, in my opinion, there is not a lot of story. You are trapped in an underground complex, you play as a group of prisoners, and you get missions and contracts from this unknown entity called the Warden. And you're fighting the sleepers, and you try to survive as a prisoner. The immersion of the game is really good, due to the soundtrack, sound effects, the level design, the ambience, top tier. The story is more, at one point, yeah, I'm following the story, but I don't have this drive to unlock more story. So it's not really catching me as much as in other games. The drive for this game is more, I want to complete the higher difficulty rundowns or levels. So Immersion, thumbs up. Story is okay. The difficulty is a hot topic regarding GTFO, so let's talk about this one for a bit. And this is now a chapter where I will talk a little bit longer, because, well, it is their unique selling point. They claim to have a hardcore PvE challenge. And I do admit, yes, it is a very good challenge. This game is, especially at the beginning, not easy at all. Mostly due to the resources being limited. So resource management is very important. It's not like the single enemies are difficult to kill. At one point, if you mess up too much, if you just shoot every enemy and you're not doing any stealth takedowns, you will run out of resources. Sure, man, there's definitely some people out there who do like speedruns knife only. I get that, but this is a review for, you know, the average player. And I would say be prepared. This game is not very easy. Also, you need to focus for a long time because the missions on the lower levels, they are very long. Like a mission an hour plus is no rarity, to be honest. They added checkpoints though with 1.0, and I think this is a little bit of a controversial topic, at least in the community, what I saw. People claim, oh, this is taking away the hardcore aspect. I would say no. These checkpoints are fine. If you still want to play without the checkpoints, just replay the mission and let people who want to finish the mission a little bit less hardcore maybe, just use the checkpoints. On top of that, some missions they have difficulty spikes. So for example, 30 minutes, there's just of you running through the mission, you kill everything, easy peasy, nothing super difficult. And then you have that one moment where you have to clutch it and you fail because there's the spike in difficulty due to an event and the group wipes. And of course, you do not want to replay like the half an hour of boring stuff. Boring. You want to jump back to the tough part. You want to train this. You want to play this. And the checkpoints, at least those that I encountered so far, they let you do that. They're still a little bit punishing. For example, in C1, the first checkpoint is after you do a lot of preparation and a lot of looting. So, and then comes a very difficult event. If you fuck up the event, you have to do the whole looting, healing up, resupplying, you have to do that again, and yeah, that's probably your punishment for failing there. But yeah, so in my opinion, checkpoints are good. I'm enjoying them a lot. Another difficulty thing is loot is random if you replay the missions. This makes us a little bit frustrating sometimes, because in the rundown 05, like the one before they released the game, there was one mission, I think it was B3, where you had to take these portable fans to get rid of the mist, and you had to look for some keys. And the key spawned somewhere, and you couldn't see shit. Alright? So, it was not always at the same location. The thing is though, at least I think it works that way, if you play with the checkpoints, the loot stays where it is. So it's only randomized for each mission start, but during the mission, when you play with the checkpoints, you can actually pinpoint where the stuff is at one point. Also regarding the difficulty, and I don't know if this is good or bad, there is no scaling. So it doesn't matter if you play alone, if you play with a friend, 2 friends, or 3 friends. It will always be the same difficulty. They added bots with 1.0, and I have to admit these bots are actually okay. But for the lower levels, the bots will just not cut it. Okay? You can also make the single missions a bit more difficult by doing bonus objectives. So yeah, difficulty, in my opinion, it is really hard if you compare it with other games. The scaling, we will talk about that a little bit more. But we talked about the difficulty. Now, single player and multiplayer. Well, it does exist, but is it good? Single player. So whenever I stream this game or I upload an episode on my main channel, people ask me, hey, this looks interesting, this looks cool, can I play this alone? Or do I need friends to play this with? And I'm gonna be brutally honest with you guys, if you wanna play this solo, then get the fuck out. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. There are bots now, sure, but there's still no scaling. That means you get the full brutal experience that everybody else gets with like 4 veteran players and everybody knows what the fuck they're doing, most of the time at least. Also, you can play the first missions actually, I think they are possible. I did a couple, even before the release, without the bots. I know that there were people finishing some of them, but afterwards, honestly, it will be impossible. And if it's possible, you probably have to glitch something or you will not have fun at all. You really need to play this game as a multiplayer experience. We're gonna talk about that right now. And now let's talk about the true GTFO experience, the multiplayer. The way it's meant to be played, multiplayer. Team play, in my opinion, is essential in GTFO. I will give you a couple examples. Everybody sneaks up to one of the sleepers, you charge your melee attacks, you count to 3, you bash into her head, bam. Resource management, because you saved a lot of ammo. You can of course just run and gun and you will succeed to a certain extent, but then you miss a lot of the stealth gameplay of GTFO. The events, they need some teamwork too. For example, your loadouts should match each other. Playing with 4 snipers is a little bit overkill. Having 1 dude with a shotgun though and 1 dude with a sniper to take out the scouts and the big guys is amazing. Furthermore, the tools, the same thing. You don't need 4 biotrackers. You need 1 dude with a biotracker. He gives intel to the whole group. 1 dude with the foam launcher. You reinforce the door. The next guy comes in with the mine deployer, places a mine right after the reinforced door. The sleepers are piling up behind the reinforced door. They breach it and then the mine takes care of them. It is a very rewarding gameplay. I tried it solo. Not really fun. Playing together as a team, lots of fun. Now, why should you buy the game? Let's have a look at the unique selling points. So we talked about this already here and there in the previous chapters. In my opinion, the difficulty is the unique selling point. You really can spend a lot of time in the game by trying to finish the highest difficulties with the most side objectives without cheesing or glitching it. That will take you a lot of time. It is not a brainless PvE shooter. Well, maybe at the beginning. Also, and this is something that I really like, is you have a unique enemy design. I am kinda bored, you know, shooting zombies in almost every game, so having these sleepers there with a little bit of a unique design, that's a big plus for me. And a question that I get a lot is, what did I like? There's actually quite a lot of things that I like about GTFO. So the graphics, they get the job done, and the atmosphere is giving me beautiful immersion. I like that one. The difficulty, yes, I'm getting repetitive, still. Big plus for me. The sleepers are a creative design. They are insanely ugly and disgusting, and I mean this in a good way actually. Teamwork gets rewarded, that's always important for me. It's a co-op game where you actually have to help each other and not just play together, if that makes sense. The biomes, they do change quite a bit, mission to mission. It's actually not true. It's not always underground, but I can't spoil now anything. Most guns are viable. This might change in the next couple months when there's a new rundown and they have new rundown specific weapons. But for now, most of the guns are viable. Sure, there's a few. For example, SMG is more for a little bit staggering the enemies and not immediately killing them. The semi-automatic revolver is just, you know, destroying them. But overall, I would say that most guns are viable. And tools can be used in multiple ways. That's also something that I love. Like the mines, for example, you can't just put them on a lower level and then they get triggered by everything, or you put them closer to the ceiling and then they will only trigger when the big guys come. You can combine it with the foam grenades or the foam launcher. Try it for yourself. But that's not all. There's actually a bit more. The finely tuned group loadouts. This is something that really surprised me when I played it the first time. You can play a lot of synergies regarding the tools. Some people even say you don't need the bioscanner anymore at one point when you know the map and when you know where the enemies roughly spawn, and that is true. Get crazy with that. Build like a wall of turrets and stuff like that. It's fun. Also, big plus. Different melee weapons. only having that big hammer was annoying. Now with the knife, it feels more like a stealth takedown. Same with the spear. The rundown specific loadouts, this is also something nice. They currently have actually quite a few guns, and they will swap every rundown. So you have your standard guns, for example, the sniper rifle is, I think, always available. But the Hell pistol, for example, is only rundown 06. So next rundown, you will get new weapons. Also, very important, the loadout should fit the mission. Sometimes you play a contract where you have to move a lot. That makes the mines less effective. If you have to defend a lot, where you can build up walls or reinforce walls with the foam and then use the mines, way stronger. There are actually a few missions where we did not pick the mine deployer anymore. Alright, so this is what I like, but there's also one or two things that I don't like. No game is perfect and neither is GTFO, so what would I personally change? So far this sounds like a must-buy when you're a PvE hardcore fan, but I have a little bit of criticism, a little bit of feedback regarding what I personally would change. So first of all, the stealth doesn't have much depth. You crouch, you go towards them, you step them, done, repeat. The only time where you have to hold still is when they do the pulsating heart effect there, because otherwise they can sense you. Mechanic is cool, a little bit more depth regarding this would be nice though. Also, you need a group of 4. If you play this alone or just with one friend, this will be pain. You need a group of 4 for fun. There is matchmaking, and I think this is the more efficient way to play actually with people, is using the official GTFO Discord. That is crazy active right now. So if you look for people to play, I think you have your best chances to go over to the official Discord. Don't play this game alone. Some levels are frustrating, some mechanics are frustrating. And I'm not talking about difficulty. So far in rundown 06, I didn't encounter that yet, but I'm still, like, we played one evening this rundown and that was until C1. In the last rundown and the rundowns before, there were some mechanics. Again, rundown 05, B3. You have to go in that super thick fog with the fog repeller while the alarm is constantly going and you have to fight an endless wave of enemies. That was just annoying, like crazy annoying. I did not enjoy that one and that made us actually quit the rundown right there. And we said, no, you know what, we wait for the next one. Customization is also lacking. There is currently no customization for the guns at all. For your character, you can unlock different backpacks, different masks, but it's almost non-existent. Calling this customization is borderline lying. Yes, it's there, it's nice to have it, but I wish you could do more there, especially regarding the guns. Then, that's more a little bit of nitpicking, no scaling. Because while they advertise the game as a co-op game, if you want to play it alone, yeah, what the fuck you doing even? But a little bit of scaling, I think, would go a long way. Not everybody wants to look for random teammates. They just want to play with their one partner that they always play. Maybe at one point add a little bit of scaling. A bigger issue, though, is there is not really progression. The only progression in this game is to unlock the missions in the rundown. And that's it. There's no unlocking of guns. There is no unlocking of ammo types or attachments. Once you cleared the last mission, it's over. You have to wait for them to create a new rundown, which happens every 3 to 4 months. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Also, these takedowns, they get repetitive, well, because there's also no animation for these takedowns. It's like a stab from the right or a stab from the left, if you, for example, play with the knife. Maybe add takedown animations. That would be cool. And then don't make them super repetitive. Add for the knife then like 4 or 5 takedown animations. That was something that I criticized in Deathloop, that the animations were almost always the same. So yeah, we talked about this now, what I personally would improve. I also mentioned they have to create multiple rundowns to keep the game fresh. And that's my transition to the next chapter, playtime and replay value. Now, do you get your money's worth? Let's talk about playtime and replay value. So let's discuss this one here a little bit. Clearing a rundown takes a while, especially if you're playing GTFO for the first time or you're playing with randoms or with a pickup group. Max out the side objectives takes even longer, so you are busy for quite a while to finish the whole rundown. However, once the rundown is completed, there is nothing really keeping you going to complete once more. Maybe different tool setup, maybe you wanna try different gun setups, but that's it. So you kind of have to wait until they release a new rundown. So now let's have a look at how often do they release a new rundown, because they basically tell you how much replay value you're getting. In the last 2 years, they released 6 rundowns. December 2019 was the first time you could play it, and now it's December 2021. So every 4 months, roughly, you get a new rundown. That being said, though, that might get a bit more the next couple of years because, well, they released the game now, so my guess is most of the development is done. So maybe they can speed it up and bring more rundowns every 3 months. What I'm gonna say now is nothing negative, and I don't mean this in a hateful way or whatever. For me, GTFO is a solid on-off game. The content comes in cycles, and that's also how often I play it. New rundown, I get at the boys, we're gonna play for a couple weeks, as long as it's fun. And then we're gonna stop playing again, and we wait for the new rundown. It's pretty nice, because I played most of the rundowns, and every time coming back, the game improved, and it was lots of fun. So replay value is there as long as the support for the game continues with multiple rundowns. And now the question everybody was waiting for, should you buy the game? Just to be clear here, this is just my personal opinion, right? I think I almost started every chapter with in my opinion and stuff like that, okay? Because only you can answer this question. I provide you with information which is sometimes a fact and sometimes it's biased information. In my opinion, only buy this game when you have a group of players, because that is necessary. You can play with a pickup group, you can go through this process, but it's challenging. You will go to the official Discord, you look for people, maybe 1 out of 6 people is somebody where you click with and you enjoy playing with him, and then you build up a roster of people you can play with, and that will most likely work. But this is time consuming. The rundowns are an on-off content, so if you're looking for a game that you can play every couple months, GTFO is a very good pick. It costs, right now it's on sale, so it costs 30 euros. Otherwise, I think it's 40 euros. 40 euros is a bit on the higher side. I would say I got my money's worth. But well, everybody has to decide it for themselves. You need for this game, though, a high pain tolerance. Like, this is not a game where if you get frustrated easily, you might want to look for other PvE co-op games. This one is more on the hardcore side. Doesn't matter if people now spam my comment section with, but Mike, there is a speedrunner who does it so super easy. Yes, but they're speedrunners. You don't want to know how much time they spent on this. So, this is basically the Too Long Didn't Read. You have a group of players to play with, and you like hardcore PvE shooters, go for it. Otherwise, maybe not so much. And what would be a review without a rating? Here we go. Rating games is always difficult because, well, my opinion is biased. From my background, always keep in mind that I do have an arranged group. I tried the matchmaking a little bit, I tried the official Discord a little bit. The rating is based on an arranged group that always plays together. Atmosphere, weapons, enemies, AI, and the difficulty is a plus. Level design, audio, and variety, honestly, that is kind of neutral. This is not a big plus, but it's also nothing that I complain about. Customization, progression, animations, and the scaling, though, that's not that great. Animations like, for example, healing or giving ammo, there's no animation. Progression, we talked about this already. Now, not every bullet point has the same weight, though. Okay, for me, GTFO is a 7.5/8.0 out of 10 possible points. it loses 1 point regarding customization and progression, maybe even 1.5. And it loses another half point to a point regarding to repetitiveness and lack of animations. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think about my review. I hope you enjoyed it. And for now, I'm gonna roll the outro. And that's it for my second review. I wish I could do more and do them faster, but slow progress is still progress. Can't wait to produce the next one. Feel free to share the review of GTFO. People who are doing already so much can be seen here, my patrons. Thank you for your support, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope they will improve the game even more, and I hope you will have fun with GTFO should you decide to buy it. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, have a good day and bye bye.